Are you interested in getting started with homeschooling but aren't sure where to start? Or are you looking to help your child transition out of public school and into homeschooling in a way that helps set them up for success? If so, then deschooling might be a good fit for you. In this video, I want to explain what deschooling is and how you could do it with your child. Please hit like on this video and subscribe to the channel so that you get notified whenever a new video is released. Okay, so first of all, what is deschooling? Well, deschooling is an intentional transition period between public school and homeschool. During deschooling, families take a break from everything that looks like school or a traditional school experience. So during a deschooling time, kids aren't going to be reading textbooks. They won't be doing worksheets or taking tests. They won't be sitting in desks. They won't be listening to lectures. There won't even be scheduled school hours. This unscheduled time gives kids and their parents an opportunity to rethink their mindset around school. It helps us to realize that teaching and learning can happen anywhere and that homeschool does not have to look like public school. And those are some really important things to realize as we're getting started. So there's a few reasons why you might consider deschooling and why deschooling might be really helpful in that transition from public school to homeschool. The first reason is that deschooling helps kids relax and decompress. Often families are transitioning out of public schools because they had a negative experience with the school in some way. And they're trying to avoid those circumstances or those experiences, and so they've decided to homeschool. And if that's the case, that can cause some really significant stress to both your child and to you as their parent. So sometimes it can be really helpful just to take some time to relax after a traumatic situation. Rather than stressing your child out with more school right away, consider taking some time just to enjoy life for a bit. School will be there when you're ready for it. Also, deschooling can help kids rediscover their curiosity. During this time of deschooling, kids have the time and the freedom to just explore things that they're interested in. They can control what they're learning about rather than being forced to follow a specific curriculum or set of guidelines that are chosen by the school. Curricula definitely have their place, and especially in homeschool. But during the transition, it can be helpful to have kids be able to have some control over what they're learning. This is one of the biggest benefits of homeschooling, and it can be really worthwhile for kids and families to explore this benefit right away. How can you help your child find their curiosity again? What would they like to explore and learn about? Also, kids who are deschooled have a chance to learn about things that they're really and truly interested in. And this is important because it can help them rediscover their passion for learning. Would your child say that learning is fun? If not, deschooling can give them an opportunity to explore ways that learning can be fun and to rediscover their love of learning. And if our goal as homeschool parents is to help our kids become lifelong learners, then this is one of the most important things that we can teach them. Finally, deschooling helps kids come into homeschooling with an open mind. A lot of times when kids start the experience of homeschooling after being schooled in a traditional school, they'll start to make a lot of comparisons. And they might even make objections, saying things like, well, that's not how we did it in school. And even kids who don't like school sometimes can start to make those comparisons and have those frustrations. And so if your child has had some time since they were in school, it can really help to minimize the comparisons and to help them to see that homeschool is going to be completely different than public school and that that's okay, or even it might be good. The process of deschooling will help kids to see that. Deschooling can also be really helpful for parents, and it can be a transition period and to help to ease the transition for us into becoming our kids' teachers. This can be a really scary time and a scary process, and so deschooling can have some really powerful benefits for parents. First of all, deschooling shows us that school at home does not have to look like public school. And this is something that's really important to learn when you're a new homeschool parent. You can learn when you're deschooling that you don't necessarily need textbooks and worksheets and tests and lectures and desks unless you want to use those things. Watching your child learn through play, through independent exploration, and through their own interest can be so liberating. Your child will learn things daily, whether you're teaching them or not. And your job as their parent and as their teacher is just to guide them, to make sure they're exposed to a variety of things, and to make sure that they have the right environment and the right opportunities for learning. This is really freeing because it helps us see that our kids' learning does not depend on our ability to teach them. And that's something that's really important to keep in mind. Also, while we're deschooling, this can be a really great time to focus on relationships. Homeschooling can be a really amazing opportunity to spend more time with your child and to get to know them better and to really invest in your relationship with them. But homeschooling can also bring stress to that relationship when homeschooling is stressful or when it's not going well. Your relationship with your child should always come before anything that you're trying to teach them. And a deschooling period helps us to establish these priorities from the very beginning of our homeschool time. It also helps to establish a relaxed atmosphere to homeschooling, which will help to eliminate many of those conflicts before they even begin. Also, as parents, deschooling gives us time to transition. Sometimes the decision to pull our kids out of traditional school is a sudden one and not one that comes with lots of time to prepare. All of a sudden, you're your child's teacher. You didn't have any time to plan what that will look like or how you'll do it. And so if that's the case, deschooling gives you time to explore the idea of learning with your child. During the deschool process, you can observe your child and you can see what are their interests and how do they like to learn. And these observations will help you make good decisions about how to homeschool and what curriculum to choose and what to study. And this will help make homeschool fun, and it will help you teach in the way that your child learns. And this means that your child will learn better and faster and have more fun doing it, which means less fights and less resistance. So how do you deschool? Well, the deschooling process is going to look a little bit different for each family. It'll depend on things like how old your child is, how much time they spent in a traditional school, and how well that traditional school experience fit with their learning style. It'll also depend on if they had a traumatic experience at school. But in general, a good rule of thumb to follow is to deschool for 1 month for every year that your child was in traditional or public school. So in deschooling, the goal is to help your child rediscover the joy of learning. So you're going to use the time to build your relationship and reconnect with your child. You'll know that deschooling is working as you and your family start to find a relaxed rhythm to your day. Your kids will be enjoying exploring and learning new things that they're interested in ways that they learn best. And you'll be enjoying spending time and learning together. All of those are signs that deschooling is working and that you might be ready to add some more structure to your homeschool. And as you begin to transition to a more structured homeschool experience, make sure that you are taking cues from your child. Do they seem ready? Are they enjoying what they're doing? Those kinds of things as you're observing. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. Please share your thoughts about deschooling in the comments.